Zero budget restoration is back, and Andy needs a suspension upgrade. And by now, you guys should know there's only one suspension kit we fit here at DTE TV, maxpeedingrods. Let's get into it. I haven't moved the camera from the last shot. Is it because I is lazy? Well, it's just in the right position. We have got a maxpeedingrods coilover kit. You might have seen, if you're doing your caddy or any VW or any vehicle on a budget, we are doing the exact same. We've done quite a few bits to Andy's van for not a lot of money. We picked up a V2 front end from my man Billy Neal at Caddy Enhancements. He hooked us up. We got given some 18-inch alloy wheels with no tyres. We've painted them. We've done a few dents. And we have kept the budget to we have kept the budget to almost zero. We've now got a maxpeedingrods coilover kit. They are the cheapest coilover kit on the internet. And don't be fooled because they're cheap, you think they're not going to last. I have a set on my caddy, we have a set on Darren's caddy, we have a set on my T5 transporter, and a few other sets. And I am absolutely blown away by how nice the ride quality is. Quality. Oh, we need to jack it, she's low, we should have driven on blocks, but we'll get there. I am surprised how good the quality of them, the finish, and everything about them. They drive nice down the road, they're cheap, they sit low, so what more can you ask for not a lot of money? I do have a product code, 10% off, DTE TV, check out maxpeedingrods, absolutely brilliant. Big shout out to them for supporting the channel and automotive content on YouTube. I need to jack it up, get the wheels off. We've got the rear kit, we've already done the axle flip. If you want to know about doing an axle flip on a caddy, there's plenty of videos on the channel. Just type DTE TV, axle flip. How low will it go? There's a few. So we're just going to whip these off, whip the new ones on. Easy, 10 minutes. It's not 10 minutes. Hello, Pinch. What's going on? Out in the Astra? Yeah. Out cruising? Tomorrow. Need to get it up in the air, get the wheels off, and get some work done. I have moved the camera all of 2 foot to the right. This is Andy. If you haven't seen previous videos, this is his caddy. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, happy for some suspension upgrades?
Yes, mate. And the rods are really, really good.
They are. So we have fitted a few sets in the past, and I won't lie, for a budget kit I was a little bit apprehensive, but I'm absolutely blown away by how good they are. They ride so good. So there are other cheap brands available, and the other brand that are cheap and available, we've removed 2 of them sets and fitted the maxpeedingrod set. A lot of sets going on there. And the people I've fitted the new set to, they have said how much better the ride quality is with these. So the feedback is all good. I'm going to get Andy to do some work today. It's his van, and I've got a bit of a tender back. Needs to do some stretches, wake up, do some yoga. Or something like that. Get this bad boy off. 10-litre bolts around the outside, not that one. This plate, it bolts to the bulkhead. There's some buried under there. There's meant to be 4, but there's 2. If you squint, they're mint. The only one thing that's a little bit fiddly with fitting these to a caddy is taking the wipers, the scuttle plastic trim, and this metal plate doodad whatnot off to get to the top bolts. And on the driver's side you do have to take the wiper motor out, but I've done it once once, twice, 30 times. So I know that it's a T30 socket and I can do it in pretty quick succession, if that's the right word. I ain't even got all the wheels off. I don't believe we need to take the rears off. Again, we have done the axle flip. So it's just a case of the shocks on the rear, because on the back of the caddy is old leaf springs, like an old Escort or an old Transit, the oldest form of suspension going, but I guess it works. So why fix what ain't broke? And you know, when we do front suspension, I like to graunch everything out the way. So I like to drop the hub all the way down as far as possible to save graunching on the hoses and ABS cables. Let's get a few more bits stripped down. Your brake pads are low on the front end.
Yeah. Did say on the MOT need some perhaps.
I think I might have some in stock on the shelf. Let's do a few bits and recap and get the suspension kit out, because it is pretty. 3 camera moves in 1 video. Cool. We are big budget. Now, I have got the hubs all the way dropped down. I've undone the drive shaft nut. I've undone the 3 bolts that hold the ball joint on. You can do it. If you're crude, you can just undo the pinch bolt, not undo the drive shaft or the ball joint, and you can just lever it down and slide the hub off the shock. But you end up graunching everything. You end up pulling everything tight. It's not very nice. For the sake of 4 bolts, you can drop the hub all the way out the way. We've got no graunchy, nothing. It's a lot easier, if you ask me. When it comes to the top 3 bolts on the top mount, sometimes these can be a pain. What happens is all the dirt, dust and debris, silent S is no longer silent, it goes on the end of the threads, and as you undo it, the captive nut on the top mount ends up spinning. Now, that is awful. It is terrible. If that happens on yours, you can get your wheel arch liner out the way. You can sometimes get mole grips on the spinny captive nut, or you end up having to cut the bolt head off from the inside. These have already been on and off 1,000 times, maybe twice, but slight exaggeration. And if you do plan to reuse one, you can put a nut and a bolt on it. So you've got one out and go on buzz. Oh, the inside one has actually got a nut and bolt. Someone's been here already. 1,000 times. Back one. Back one. Yes. So we do have a used set of coilovers that were donated, and they done all right, but I believe one of them is slightly weeping. We've got a little bit of noise, and they're not maxpeedingrods, so get out of here. They are stance. They've done all right ish. That's it, nice and easy, straight assembly. I do need to lift it up for Andy to change the rear shocks, but I have got my hub sat on a battery. Obviously there's 2 metal posts on a battery, so if you start arcing stuff out, you're going to have a good time. So be careful. Let's get the box out, because I've normally got a massive tool to open the boxes. Let's have a butcher's. If you've seen previous box opening videos, I use chainsaws, I use disc cutters, just being silly for entertainment purposes. But this one is open, so if you was waiting for some flamboyant way of opening it, I do apologise, it's open. We just use the blade, you know, like any normal person. The box is a bit beaten. That is not how they come when you purchase them. This has been sat in my spray booth for about a month. The corner of the box got wet. They do come nicely packaged. And in the box, you're going to find everything you need for a coilover lowering conversion. We've got front shocks, oon and doon. We've got rear shocks, oon, doon. We have got some axle flip plate Dubry Firkins. but we've already done the axle flip on Andy's. But I do have another caddy. A friend of mine is buying a caddy, and he might need these. So we will be using those, but that will be in a later video. We've got brand new rear spring, no, leaf springs. Already told you, come on, wakey wakey. We have got brand new front springs. We've got instruction book, because everyone needs instructions. We have got maxpeedingrods since 2006. Oh, that's pretty cool. Served more than 4 million customers, increasing by 1.5 million each year. That is me and you. Yeah, it's a suspension kit. It's good quality. It's nicely packaged. Oh, I need the top mounts off them. Let me make something. Let's get some work done. I need to reassemble these with bits from the old set. Unless you're going to get new top mounts. But I believe we've already put new top mounts on Andy's. If you are changing to coilovers from standard suspension, you have to use a spring compressor. Do not, and I mean do not, undo that top nut if you're using standard suspension. You need a spring compressor. These coilovers aren't under much tension. This shock's actually bent. Tell by the way my gun is gipping about. And as we get near, my spring is loose. Again, if you've got standard suspension, do not, under any circumstances, just undo the nut. You will have a bad time. Well, that's killing my life off. Now, I did just mention that this shock may have a slight tweak on it, a little bend, but for another zero budget, it will probably still be fine. So I'm going to hold them with grips, but I'm still going to use something. I don't want to scratch them. Oh, here we go. Yes, did I scratch it? Is it knackered? No scratches. She's mint. So, oh, I think I can just see the little tweak. It's only on the end of the thread actually. So they are good. Where's the nut? Old nut. Andy, that is for you, sir. Put that next to the other one. They also do come with the locking keys. I don't know if I mentioned, in the massive box opening reveal. And I have wound the threads down to near the bottom. Andy's driveway is a bit like off-road safari, so he can't go all the way. So I've left 10 mil, and I put a little bit of copper grease on the threads before I wind the bolt down. If ever you've seen older coilovers, the threads get really nasty, and if ever you want to adjust them at the later date, if you don't put any grease under them, you're going to have another bad time. Might need a spring on there, that might help. New nut is the same size. Normally suspension is 21, but these aftermarket Dubreys are 22. That is hammered up like buttercup. I am going to do the reverse procedure, putting these in, slide my hubs back on, and let's have a look at the back. They look pretty. You happy with them, Ant?
Yes, mate, that's well smart, isn't it?
Look good, don't they? Very nice.
Very nice.
Don't know why we're turning into Borat, but very nice. All back together, looking nice and pretty, easy. Now, if you're on the pinch bolt and you need to take the old one apart or get the new one together, there is a special tool. That is a hub opener tool, and it is half side flat. You put it in the groove, turn it 90 degrees, and it opens the hub. If you don't have one of them, I made one. That is an M10 bolt with two flat sides. Put it in, turn 90 degrees, bosh, hub will slide straight out and back on. Moving swiftly on to the rears, and it is just an 18mm nut and bolt on the bottom, 21 on the top, but if you've got an axle flip, this bolt is a bit of a wiggle to get out. You have to sort of lever it out, but it's a long way off at the moment. So let me whip the top 21 off, and this bottom 18 nut and bolt, that was FT, and that ain't foot-pounds, that's effing tight. And my pet hate, never try to undo a stiff bolt or any bolt nut with the open end of a spanner. They always round off. Use the ring. I very rarely use the open end. I always use the ring end. So we had to use Stilsons, the Stilsons that would undo the drain plug to the world if needed, to hold the nut, and an 18mm ring spanner. Literally, I don't care if your nut is a 2mm nut, a 10mm nut, or a 40mm nut. Don't use the open end of a spanner, because you're going to round it off. And then guess what you're going to have? A bad time. So that bolt is all the way out. Can I wiggle that a bit? Can I shimmy A that out? I can't remember. I do remember it's just a bit graunchy. It's not our favourite terminology. That's it. We are laughing now. That's it. I will cut this clip down. Just keep undoing it and it comes out at a skew with angle. Shock out. Well, let's go for it. That is top bolt started. Oh, these shocks are nice and pokey. They are quite taut. And then to get it in, am I going to hammer it, or let's have a look. Let's get hammer. It is a little bit graunchy. We're in. So if you've got an axle flip, you might have to wiggle with that. We're going to wind the bolt in, put the nut on, do that up, do the 21, repeat on the other side, lower it down, get it outside, and let's see what the peding rods is looking like.
Yeah.
Van is back on the floor. I am mid-flight through the polo video. You will have either seen that or you'll be seeing that very soon. We haven't gone for the mega lows. Remember, I said Andy's driveway is a bit like an off-road safari, so he isn't going for mega lows. Looks good, happy with the quality, happy with the fitment. Andy's going to take it home tonight, go safari to get on his drive, and we will recap and see how the ride quality is against a used set of non-mentioning stance coilover kit. Suspension has settled a little bit. It looks level with the backhand, but obviously it could go lower. They go quite a lot lower.
Yeah, she's a bit higher.
How was the driving experience on your off-road driveway?
It was really good, actually.
And you picked the boy up, dropped the boy off, and you told me about there's a speed bump that you normally have to scrape over.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Yeah, brilliant. There's a few down there, actually, and every single one of them I went over a little bit quicker than usual just to test her out, and she was sweet.
Lapped it up?
Yeah, it lapped it up big time.
So the ride quality, obviously yours were a used set of stance coilovers,
Yeah.
but these new ones, how do they compare?
Like brand new.
Nice.
None of that jerkiness when you hit something.
And no banging,
No
heavy banging.
Yeah.
Because a lot of coilovers I've tested out, or lowering suspension, you hit a bump and there's a heavy bang.
That's what it was
and it's
like,
awful.
yeah. None of that now.
So it's good.
It's like brand new.
Happy days.
Yeah.
And
Love
they're
it.
like the cheapest ones on the internet.
Yeah.
Which is surprising because they ride amazing, right?
Every set you've put into other vans, it's been sweet afterwards.
Yeah, I get
really
good feedback. So big shout out to Max Peding Rods.
Yeah.
Don't forget 10% DTE TV product code. I will put a link to this set in the video description and a link to the Max Peding Rods website. Go check them out. Absolutely perfect for the money.
Yep, definitely.
Andy, I'm wearing my new jumper. You haven't commented.
Oh, DTET. Oh, yeah.
Nice, aren't they?
Yeah, they
So
are.
these are the stitched ones, and look, feel that.
Yeah, that's proper, that.
Honestly, the nicest jumper. I like a black jumper for work. Just all round good. They wear well, and I've got loads of black jumpers, but this is the nicest fitting jumper I've ever had. I have got printed ones. I've also got a couple of stitched ones. I'm going to wear them for a couple of days, and then I'll mention in another video. And the DTE TV Originals t-shirts, if you haven't got one, there isn't many left. They are numero uno. The original t-shirts, I don't know when they're going to be coming back because a new design is coming. They are selling out pretty fast. If you want one of the original DTE TV t-shirts, check out the page, dtetv.net, get yourself a t-shirt, support the channel. I appreciate you all. I'm not sure what video is coming up next. I am playing with a little polo. We've got this caddy here, and there is another video on Rowan's Maxi. And tonight, we, Andy, myself, and my friend Skiro, he's bought a caddy, you know, the short wheelbase ones. It's listed for spares and repairs. The seller advises not to drive it home. It's got MOT before any naysayers say anything. We're going to try and get it running, drive it home, 150 miles. How we do, we'll find out in the next video. I'll see you in the next one. We're out.
Oh, yeah.